So very good morning from the Broncolor studio. I'm Urs Richter, and today I have the pleasure to talk to you about small things. We talk about the Picolight system today, and I would like to present today's stars quickly, which is obviously, first of all, the Picolight itself. The lamphead like this, according to my understanding of light, it doesn't make too much sense, but with all the goodies, with all the accessories, it's really an extremely cool system for small product photography, first of all. We will see that I use it as well in other fields of photography. And in the end, we have something like a Fresnel spot. I can show this from a little bit closer by. So we have a Fresnel spot attachment. Exactly, something like this. Then we have projecting attachment, that's the one. Grids are in combination with a little snoot. So we have here some, I don't know, 15 centimeters length. And then in top we have different grids, from normal light shapers and additionally aperture masks. And then last but not least, we can go back to the normal camera already because it's the biggest accessory for the Picolight. We have the Pico box. So, I mean, all these are light shapers that we know from classic bigger sets. Fresnel could be maybe the fluter. Grids, you all know grids for normal reflectors, for beauty dishes, even for paras and soft boxes. Grids is something that's commonly known. Pico box, I mean, the Pico box is an acrylic light shaper, so definitely not wrinkled, super even, illuminated. But it can, of course, be compared to soft boxes. I would then compare it with a soft box with the third diffuser on it, because it's super sharp edged. It's very even. But as well, it's much smaller than even the smallest softbox of Broncolor, which is a 35 by 60 centimeters, and this obviously is even smaller. Then as well, barn doors are available for the Picolight if you want to use it like this, because it's, let's say, it has not a parabolic reflector that directs the light. And if you're not using, let's say, the Fresnel spot or the grids to direct the light, of course, even also at least the barn doors will help you to protect the environment a little bit from unwanted indirect lighting. Last but not least, we have a pulsar adapter, which means you can use the standard normal Broncolor light shapers, such as I said, beauty dish, soft boxes, and so on. You can use them on the Picolight as well. But to be honest, this is more like an emergency situation. You see here, we have an integrated flash tube, and the lamp head actually ends flat. So there is no external flash tube. We cannot take this reflector away. And if we want to use a parabolic reflector, like a normal standard reflector P70, it makes a lot of sense if the flash tube, of course, is in the focus point of this light shaper. And here we do not have this situation. And we know that this is not the best solution if you want to use standard light shapers. But of course, all these light shapers here are optimized for this. I would like to show quickly how this can work here with the Fresnel spot adapter. So we actually here with the Fresnel, we just use here a little opening. So all the uncontrolled light that goes left and right from the matte protecting glass is actually just burned, is not used. And we only use the small opening here. So we get very close to a point light source. And if we have a point light source, we can build very precise light shapers. And that's all what it is about. So you can say that with this small opening, you lose a lot of power. Yes, but the system is, first of all, for rather short distances. So the full focus here is on light quality, on light control, and the quantity, yeah, there is always enough light because we work, I would say, up to 1 meter, 1 meter 50. The Picolight needs a power pack. So this one, for example, is now connected to a Scoro. So we always have enough power. Okay, so that's why we have a super precise light shaping tool here, first of all, for rather small sets. Right, okay. Yes, about the questions, I just discussed this with my dear colleague Ramon, who is in the studio with me. The question chat window is open all the time here, so there is no specific question session during today's webinar. So please, if you have something to ask, just use the chat window in the right of your screen, and whenever I finished one setup, I will have a quick look at it and answer the questions if there are any. So how does it work today? Today's webinar is based on a PowerPoint presentation. So again, here the 4 light shapers that are the main subject, and the Picolight is actually that's what I said before. It's a super precise light. The picture you see here on the right side, that's not cheated. That's not Photoshop thing. It really is shot like this. So it's the light that allows you to illuminate one single match on a mountain or on a hill of matches. So it's that extremely precise. The only thing that I manipulated in Photoshop is I brought the projecting attachment somewhat lower. That is actually in the picture as well. But what we see at the lower end, that's really just straightforward photography, no retouching, no cheating at all. Right, okay, we start with the first example. This first example is a still life that I explained more precisely, that's the wrong button, more precisely in another webinar. So if you just scroll back a couple of weeks, you will find this webinar explaining this specific shot very precisely on YouTube. Okay, this is the final, and this is the setup behind it. You see there are 2 Picolights involved. As a backlight, number 1 is projecting attachment, illuminating the back side of the bottle only. And then the second light is number 2. It's a small softbox. It's not a Pico box, just it's a textile softbox. And then last but not least, from the front, I have a spot, which is in this situation honeycomb grids. Let's have a look what these lights do. So the concept of the entire shot is that I would like to shoot this white bottle on a white flower background, and I want that the light that we have a spotlight effect, and that the light comes from the object itself. So here we have the shadows in front of the object. Here we have the shadows actually behind the object. So it looks as if this perfume bottle is emitting light. How can I achieve this? By using the bottle as a light shaper. So here this number 1 light here. And just a quick question, Ramon, do you see when I move my flash, my cursor, do you see this? Can I use the cursor? It's now, you can't see the cursor. Okay, so I try to explain this with words. This Picolight with the projecting attachment fires very strongly on the backside of this Bugatti perfume bottle, creates some light traveling through the bottle. But first of all, I work here with the reflections from the white back of the bottle back on the flower on the ground. Okay. Here I can work very precisely. So this light does not hit the underground directly. It's really just hitting the bottle, but not the underground. How do we do this? For this, I would like to stop here quickly and go to camera 2. So this is the projecting attachment. And the trick here to do this, let me put this in position exactly like that. We have here these templates. And I can close these templates, and they limit the light. You can see it exactly like this. Okay. So you can illuminate very precisely any shape of light you need. Let's say like a very thin line, something like this. Okay. And with these templates, I can make sure that there are There's no light hitting the underground and only the bottle. And then I work with the reflections. The next light is the top light. Actually here the number 3 on the left side on the behind the scenes. So here again, I of course use some of the light directly on the bottle because this brings some white back, because the translucent light is kind of a yellow touch, which is not the original color of the bottle itself. So with this one, I make sure that I have reflective light, not only translucent light, but reflective light as well. And again, you see it in front of the bottle that I use actually the light being reflected from the bottle. So it comes from the back, and that's why I get the shadows in front of the object. And then my light number 1, which is this one, and the light number 2, they both do not illuminate the cap, which is silver. So that's why I have here an additional softbox on the behind the scenes shot on the left side. It's number 2. And the trick here is that I take this light far away. And we have here a directed reflection, so it's a silver surface, and these reflections are independent on the distance. Even if I take the softbox very far away, it's still reflecting, but the further away I take it, the less effect I have on the matte underground, on the flower. So it's one very cool way to control softboxes or any light shaper, that they just do what I want them to do. So in this situation, they only or almost only illuminate the cap without destroying the contrast of the rest of my set. This would happen if I would go closer with the softbox. If I go closer with the softbox, the reflection would still be the same. It would still have the same brightness, because it's just reflecting the brightness of the softbox, the absolute brightness of the softbox. But of course, the rest of the setup, like the underground, the flower, this depends as well a lot on the distance. All right, good. So we have a next shot as well, small objects. And here the first light I set up was the light illuminating this. No, you can't see it. The lipstick on the very left, and I wanted to create some reflections coming back from the lipstick. So that's why I used there a very strong light, which is the Picolight here on the lower right side with a projecting attachment. And there, I guess I have the power pack almost on full power. And you see the line, I illuminate the left side of this lipstick very, very strongly, but only this area, nothing on the white underground, nothing on any other object, just this side, the left side of the lying lipstick, very, very strong. And I use the reflections coming back from this light. But everything else is not affected. So this is kind of like an effect light. So I basically started with an effect light and then started working with the other lights. Light number 2. Light number 2 was here the main light. Here I chose a backlight and a spot effect. So here I used again honeycomb grids on the snoot, and this is the light that's responsible here for this kind of let's call it main light. Okay, so this area here that's illuminated with the Picolight and the grids, most probably the narrow grids, because I wanted to have the light a little bit further away. You see that this distance is quite large. So, and if I go that far away, of course, I need narrow grids, otherwise the light is too uncontrolled. And if I go a little bit further away, the other advantage is that I get relatively sharp shadows. Okay, so that's why I don't take wide grids and go very close. I take narrow grids and take them further away. From a lighting point of view, I think the most interesting thing actually is the fill-in light or the fill-in lights. I have 2 here. The first one is here the Pico box, which is almost below the table. So again, that's an area light. It's like the softbox before. And if I use a normal standard fill-in light, like a softbox or even the Pico box, I would destroy all the contrast I have. This nice spot effect, this halo of light, I would destroy it, especially when I work on a white underground. And by placing or by positioning the Pico box almost like below the table, I can make sure that it still hits the objects, but not the table, because the light is coming from below the table, so there's no light on it. But the objects there are obviously they are elevated a little bit, so they actually receive the light. The only area where the light is not going to is this area of the ring. Again, I'm just don't learn this that you can't see my cursor. Okay, so on the right top of the ring, of this arm ring, or yeah, there the light, the fill-in light from the Pico box did not reach. That's why I needed there an additional tiny little bit of fill-in light, and it's the Fresnel spot attachment that you see just left below the camera, fully focused so that the light angle is as narrow as possible and as controlled as possible. And this, in combination with the low position of the light and the narrow light beam, I could make sure that it just illuminates the ring to a certain amount, but not the underground, and as well not the standing lipstick, which is on the right side. Okay, so this is shows very nicely the different light shapers of the Picolight. So we have here all 4 in use. Main light coming from the top left, the grids with the snoot, the effect light coming from in the behind the scenes from the right, in the final shot from the left, which is the projecting attachment, and then the fill-in lights, Pico box from below the table, and the Fresnel as an additional fill-in just for the ring on the right side of the picture. Just let me remember you that if ever something is not clearly explained, please use the chat on the right side, and all the questions will be forwarded to me. Then we have a look at the very complex shot, because there are a lot of lights involved. This is the final. We have as well some reflections. We have as well some transparent objects. We have a white underground. So quite the classic problems. And let's have a look at the solution here. So in the end, there are a total of 6 lights involved. Let's have a look at them one by one. So we start with number 1, and that's exactly what I explained before with this Bugatti with the white perfume bottle on the flower underground. So I do this quite a lot, that I first try to solve technical problems that might appear later on in the shot. And this, of course, is the silver writing of the brand name. So this is a very important element. So I wanted to make sure that I have this under control. And I used for this, again, a softbox, number 1 here on the behind the scenes shot. And again, I put it far away, which means even the shaving cream, which forms here the underground, is a little bit illuminated, but it's certainly much darker than I want to have it in the final shot. So it's only there to control the reflection. And I have one light doing one job, which means I can, at the end, I can always go back to this and make it brighter, make it darker. So I like this kind of situation, one light, one job, and the entire shot is built up like that. Again, the key point here is distance, that you take the softbox far away. It still reflects dominantly, but the rest of the shot, all the matte surfaces are not or much less affected. The entire shot was supposed to be dipped in a blue atmosphere, so that's why I set up number 2 in the behind the scenes shot. It's a normal reflector. I covered it with blue filters, bounced it indirectly, very low exposure, but that to just have this kind of a blue atmosphere, blue diffused light all over. Then I took care on the texture of my underground. So this shaving cream obviously needs hard lights. So this is the backlight number 3, a P70 reflector with narrow grids, and this in combination with number 4, which is actually the same P70 with grids. I just needed 2 of them because I didn't want this light to hit the bottle too strong. We have already here a nice white line on the left of the object, so that's actually okay. But I didn't want to have the full intensity on the bottle, so that's why these 2 spots are equipped with narrow grids, so they are as precise as possible. And there is as well the black flag in between number 3 and number 4 that allows me to hide the lights a little bit behind this black flag. So it's just to make the effect of the grids even more precise. But these 2 lights are in the end just responsible for the texture of the underground. Exactly. I wanted to push here as well the transparency of the object a little bit. And there, no, it's a different story. So this is number 5, which is again a projecting attachment mounted to a Picolite coming from the back. And now you see again, first of all, you see that the bottle looks transparent, and as well you see that the area, the top area of this tube behind the biotherm writing, there I keep it darker. Why do I do this? Because there I would like to have a higher contrast later on with the brand name. So I keep the biotherm brand name darker, that later on when I illuminate it with a softbox, that it's higher in contrast and more clearly readable. And this is, of course, done with nothing else than these templates. Let me show this to you quickly. So again, actually these are the key feature of this lamp head or this light shaper, that with these templates that you can project any shape you want. And in this situation, if I want to keep it dark from the front, I just insert the lower template, okay, because it's a lens, it flips around. What comes in from below actually covers the light from the top. So if I want to cut the light on the top, I just insert the lower template. So super precise shot tool. By the way, you can focus it as well. You can focus it or defocus it, which means the rim or the ending of the light can be super sharp, or as well can be unsharp and show a little bit of a gradation. So that's as well very convenient. Okay, so we are back here with the Pico projecting attachment from the back, and then I used here from below through the shaving cream. I wanted to have like a on-stage lighting, but I didn't want to bring it from the top, so I actually brought some light through the shaving cream. I just made sure that there in this area around the tube, around the object, there's somewhat less shaving cream, that the light can travel through much better to define the size of this spot effect. Of course, you can as well work with the distance, but I didn't show this before. But with the Fresnel, you can focus or defocus it. All right. Okay. So in this situation, it's focused, which means that the Fresnel beams a very narrow light angle. And if you defocus it, if it goes in this direction, so if the light or the lens is actually too close to the light source, this means it loses some of the precision, and then this makes the light angle go much wider. Talking about these two light shapers, so the Fresnel and the projecting attachment, these are both optical systems, which means they project a picture of the light source. And if this light source is a circular flash tube, we would get as well a circular illumination. We would get a ring of light with a dark center where the modeling light is, basically. And to avoid this, you have to use, with all optical systems like Fresnels, like projecting attachments, earlier as well, let's say with the the satellite, which is as well was a very aggressive reflector projecting a picture of the light source. And in this situation, it's very important that we have a matte protecting glass. Okay, the Picolight is delivered normally with a clear protecting glass. And if ever you order one of the light shapers that requires the matte one, you will receive it. So when you order the Fresnel spot attachment, you will get the matte protecting glass with it. You can leave it on. If you don't want to change it all the time, you can leave it on as well when you use the grids or when you use the Pico box. There's nothing wrong. So matte is never wrong. But if you use the optical systems, there you have to use it because you will not be happy with the light distribution when you use these precise light shapers. All right. So where are we? We are here with the underground. So the size of this spot effect around the object, I defined this here, not with the distance, but just by focusing or defocusing the Fresnel spot attachment, which is in the behind the scenes number 6 below the table. Last but not least, background is here. It's a LED because I played a little bit with movements as well during the exposure and in the final shot that you have seen before. And as well here, it's not moved. So you could have done this as well with flash, would have been exactly the same effect. But I wanted to play a little bit with the light, and I moved the camera while the background was continuous light here done with a LED f160. So much talk, so it makes sense that we have a quick look at the final shot again on the right side and the behind the scenes on the left. And now even on the final, you can see that the effect from number 5 Picolight, which is responsible for the transparency of the object, ends here, okay? So here the object becomes darker, that I can read the brand name here more clearly. So you see this even on the final shot where all the other lights are important as well. Right, okay, still no questions, which means I go on. We are here on another perfume bottle. I will show this twice. So this is the first shot I did actually a couple of years ago already. And the goal here was, of course, to shape the bottle, the round objects, but as well how to deal with background illumination on small objects. I mean, you can imagine how big this bottle is. It's maybe 8 by 10 centimeters, very small. And how can we create or control a background illumination on something like that? And here, the trick in this situation is very simple once you found it out. And it's, I have this black underground, a black cardboard. It's actually kind of like a plastic thing. And then there's a distance holder between this black cardboard. There's a little hole cut into this cardboard, but that hole obviously is smaller than the bottle. Then a little distance holder, just some plexi plate that keeps the bottle at a few centimeters elevated. And then onto this distance holder, I put on on a white reflector, which is just simple cardboard, again, smaller than the bottle. And then finally, on top of everything, I put the bottle, and the camera obviously comes vertically down from the right. Now what happens, what you do not see is the Picolight, and the Picolight is hidden below the bottle, below the black underground. You see it's on boxes, so I have like a half a meter below. And then I fire a lot of light through this hole onto the white reflective surface, the white reflective cardboard below the bottle, and I use the reflections from this white cardboard back on the black background. Why is it blue? Because I put some blue filters in on top of my Picolight. Very simple. Okay, so that's a very nice trick for control small backgrounds. But imagine you can use the same trick in a way as well if you have a larger set. So let's say if you have a model standing in front of a rather bright background, you can hide behind the model's back. You can hide obviously the best would be a battery operated flash. You fire a lot of light to the back of the model, and you use the reflections from the model back on the background. And so the model creates, in a way, a halo of which has obviously the same color than the object. Okay, so this is a technique that makes a lot of sense for small objects, because there are no grids that are that small and that precise. But of course, we can amplify this idea as well and work on larger sets. Right. Okay, and then it has nothing to do with the Picolite, but I think interesting is to see how we can create here the gradations. You see on the left, I have gradations on the bottle and on the cap. And on the right side, I thought it's very nice if we keep it all black here. Again, you can't see it. Sorry. So here, the bottle on the right side is completely black. It only shows a gradation on the left. However, the cap has gradations on both sides. So how do we do this? Number one, Photoshop. But no, I'm not the Photoshop guy. I'm the lighting guy. So that's why I use the fill-in light. Comes from the right side, but with a mirror, not with a white cardboard. And the mirror that you see on the right side of the behind-the-scenes shot, of course, recycles the gradation that I create on the left, combining the angled small softbox with an acrylic plate. And you can position this mirror that precisely that it recycles the gradation, but does not hit the bottle itself. And if you have there a white diffused reflection, it would be a much more uncontrolled situation, of course. Right, okay, then we have another one. Same bottle, different set. Water pool, how does the behind the scenes look? First of all, the light that's responsible for the waves. So all the gradations that you see on the background. The background, by the way, is a black acrylic. I made there just a little frame around, like 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, that I can put in just a tiny little bit of water. And then the point on the white studio wall, that's actually the point that's responsible for all the showing the texture of the waves and the gradations in the backgrounds. So that's just a normal reflector, because it's the wall is far away, so the normal reflect with narrow grids is there precise enough. Then let's talk about the Picolites. The front of the bottle, where you can read the brand name Prada, that's actually there. The bottle is very, very shiny. So there I used an acrylic, which is backlit. So the camera is a tiny, tiny little bit higher than the bottle. You can see that I can see on the shoulders of the bottle. If I would be on the same height like the bottle, let's say on the height of the A of the middle A of the brand name, I would always see myself. Okay, but going a little higher with the bottle, I have a chance to work here with an acrylic, which is here the acrylic, which actually extends the table and is backlit with the Pico box from below. So it's a little bit the same idea like with the red lipsticks before. So the fill-in light is coming from almost below the table, that it does not hit anything in an uncontrolled way that's on the table, okay? And then because I go a little higher with the camera, I can actually work here. So the reflections, that the white extension of the table is being reflected on the shiny parts of the bottle. The matte part, there's a question coming, which is very good. Let me just finish this one quickly. Okay, the lower part here where you can read black, this is matte, and of course it was really super, super black. So this needed some additional light, and there I have the Picolite equipped with a projecting attachment coming from the right side, just to it's not a brand name, but it's the product's name, which is called black, to illuminate this area to a certain level. Exactly. Okay, So there's a question from Andrew. Let's answer this quickly in between. Hi Urs, how do you make that frame that allows you to pour the water onto the black acrylic? I understand there's a lot of possible variations, but knowing you, I guess you might have an effective approach. You will see a kind of similar approach later on. I flip quickly back. I have too many buttons here. Okay, so it's just, first of all, it's important that it's a black acrylic, just maybe, I don't know, 50 by 50, 50 by 60, 70 centimeters on a flat table, obviously. And then just with any cardboard that's about 1 centimeter high, I build a frame and I stick this frame onto my black acrylic with nothing else than gaffer tape. Okay, because gaffer tape is wide enough, it sticks enough, I can take it off later on. So I fix these walls of the pool, but it's really just like 2 centimeters. I fix these with gaffer tape all around. That's absolutely waterproof enough for the, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours that such a shot might take. And then the water, in the end, I tried to move the bottle first a little bit, but this was very uncontrolled. So in the end, I just took a pencil and just hit the water behind the bottle like this, and bam, fired later on, but no sound trigger, nothing. This is all slow enough that you can actually trust your finger. Then you wait a couple of seconds until all the waves are flattened again. You try a second one, and if you do this, I don't know, 10, 15 times, you probably have the perfect circular waves. We will come back to this. I will show you another picture later on, which has the same ideas of these shallow pools, but a much bigger set. Comes later today. Okay. All right, so we are here. Yes. Next one. Another product from the beauty industry. It's makeup, and here I wanted to create a little bit like a spotlight effect. I like these kind of effects. You have seen it before with the Prada black. There, I try to create on the background a spot around, and as well on the lipsticks. The entire concept of the illumination was to have a spotlight, because it just puts a lot of emphasis, of course, on the object, and that we are less disturbed by all the surroundings, which of course are important for decoration and so on. But here as well, you can see that there's this light rectangular almost around the object. And guess what? In the behind the scenes, you can even see it better. So it's a Picolight with the projecting attachment, using the templates in a way that I just illuminate the area around the object. You see it on the behind the scenes. You see that the light is a little bit wider on the right side, and it's much more narrow on the left side. But you can see in the final that the camera comes more from the left. So with these templates again, you can very, very precisely control the size and the width of these lines. Okay. The rest is actually quite straightforward because I have a lot of acrylic. So the bottle, the object itself is acrylic. So there I needed again, or I had to work with gradations. And when I want to work with gradation, it's always the same acrylic. Here it's not an acrylic, but it's I use not an acrylic with a backlight, but I use the white cardboard and work indirectly. The result is pretty much the same. And then for this lavender table that I put all around, I just used on the behind the scenes, on the top, on the lower left, it's a Picolite with the grids. And then, as I didn't want to set up 2 more of these lights, I just used shaving mirrors with the also with the amplifying side, recycling some of the light from the grids attachment, but as well the mirror, which is on the right, actually recycles the light from the indirect light coming down from the white cardboard. Okay, but here the general idea was to set the object in a spotlight and then just some indirect light, creating gradations. This was again precise enough if I use there a Portraiture head with narrow grids, and then to bring some texture in this lavender underground with an additional Picolight with narrow grids and 2 shaving mirrors. Okay, questions from Neil. I saw a long extension of the combi tube. Okay, do they bend at that extreme? I have some, but no weighted pass, unfortunately. I saw a long extension on the combi tube. Ah, there. Okay. Yeah, probably you're talking about here the long extensions. They work fine, but you see, it's everything else than straight. Okay, so it's bent a little bit. It works fine here if I don't have large light shapers. So let's say if I have here just a pulsar G head, again, I'm showing it with my cursor because I never learned it. Okay, I'm talking here about the lamp head on the right side, illuminating the background. So this combi tube bends a little bit, but absolutely acceptable. If I use something more heavy on the combi tube, I just put 2 combi tubes next to each other, and then I make like when you build a bridge, you know, you make some additional connections in between the 2, and then they are really, really strong. Sometimes here as well on the background, I don't want to change this now, but on the background as well, it's nothing else than a combi tube with the heavy plates on the underground. But if I go much higher in my studio, then I would just put an additional combi tube, let's say 1 meter in front of it, and put like a diagonal, yeah, I don't know, to make it more stable with diagonal additional tubes. But yeah, I mean, it's quite clearly with almost all the Picolight sets, I always use these stands. I just bring in, because they're always close by, so something like this. Sometimes I even put it on the table, and they are super flexible. Well, I'm not working for FOBA, but anyway, it's the way I work. So it's super flexible, and you can put it on the table. You have a little bit like an arm and so on. So it's a nice thing. Okay, but next question about lighting. All right, good. Where are we? We are here. Okay. So just another question. Let me flip quickly. What do you think about using other materials than acrylic to diffuse the light, like backlit sheets, for example? I love the acrylics. Can you imagine? Yes. I love these acrylics. Why? The acrylics, they are, first of all, they are not textile, so there's no texture. Most of the time, you don't want to burn reflections of acrylics, and if you don't burn them, you would see all the texture. And if you create reflections, let's say with a softbox, of course, all the wrinkles, all the maybe the slightly unsharp or wrinkly edges, everything all this would come back in your photographs. And acrylic light shapers like the Pico box or acrylics that are backlit, first of all, of course, they are super clean. You can wash them or you clean them with normal glass cleaning or special, no, it's not here. I have special cleaning stuff for plastic things. So they are very easy to keep clean. Then I have that in different sizes. First of all, the normal size, let's say from very small, like 20 by 20 centimeters, all the way up to, I think the biggest is like 1 by 2 meters, but then as well in different sizes in the thickness, okay? Because some of them, sometimes you want to have them really flat, so you want to have something that does not bend, and then if you have to go really, really close to an object, let's say if you have a watch here, and maybe these 30 centimeters are already, take this away. So let's say if we shoot this and you want to be very close, it's actually a big advantage if it's like bendable, okay? So I just have all different kind of acrylics. I always make sure that they are nicely color balanced, that they do not shift the color temperature. Most of the time they are a little yellowish, which nowadays you can of course control from the power packs. Nevertheless, yeah, all different kind of materials, soft ones, hard ones, higher optical density, lower optical density. So if you have a bunch of these acrylics, in my eyes, they are much better. They are even better than indirect solution. You have seen on the last shot, the one with this with the powder that I use, the indirect solution, but there you have one more light somewhere in the setup, and this additional light can fire some direct light as well to your camera or to your object. And if in the end, if you work with an acrylic and you hide the lights behind it, it's just doing what you want it to do. It's not like, yeah, first of all, you have it out of the set. It's not conflicting with other lights, because all these sets, they are super tight, they are super small. And if I can dislocate some lights and put it further away, this is always a big advantage. And that's why I prefer to work with translucent diffusion instead of indirect via white walls or white cardboards. All right. Good. So we are back here. Yes, we have seen this one. We have seen this one as well. And then that's a classic approach here. Just shows the Picolite with the grids, the narrow grids, which is actually here the main light, the one coming from the center. And the rest is just the key light. Maybe here is the big softbox, which is behind the object. And then I'm just shooting, as you can see on the left side, that the object is actually shot on black. But the black is just a small flag. You see it on the behind the scenes on the right side in front of the softbox. So this is actually the background of the shot. But then the softbox behind this black flag is much bigger. So that's why I have this contour light, this perfect contour light all around. Okay. Then you have seen it already, a couple of reflectors, and the really, from a lighting point, the most interesting part is the acrylic. Again, it's an acrylic, which is again mounted with the FOBA tubes just above the background. So there, actually all around on the left and below the object and right of the object, I just use the softbox, and this works perfect on the matte object. But where you can see the knob, the on-off switch there, actually we have a different situation lighting-wise. We have a shiny surface. And if I illuminate this shiny surface, again, there where we have the on-off knob, if I illuminate this with a softbox, evenly lit softbox, we would just have one gray value. Okay, it would just be either white or black, the pixel, nothing in between. But I illuminate this area by recycling some of the light coming from the softbox. Okay, and obviously where we have a very short distance to the softbox, there my acrylic gets very bright. And then the further away I go, the acrylic becomes darker and darker and darker. So the acrylic shows a gradation, and this gradation comes back in this shiny area. Okay, good. And that's, yeah, in the end, you have to deal a little bit or to play a little bit with the power, because the rim light, the contour light all around is actually coming from the same light like the translucent, with the same light you backlit the acrylic. So you cannot control the rim light, the contour light independently from the light which is responsible for the shiny areas. But if you play a little bit with the position of the softbox, you will always find a solution. And then all the light that brings out the texture of this shaver in the front and these gradations in the front, all these are created with the main light, which I would say in this situation, it's the Picolight with the snoot and the grids from the top left. All right. In the end, just two lights and a couple of reflectors and a little mirror that you can see below the shaver as well. So yeah, just playing a lot with recycling the light. But in the end, the entire shot is just two lights, two active lights and a couple of reflectors. All right. Then I think we should open our mind a little bit. Picolite, Pico from small, it's for small objects. So I think it's not a fashion light. It's not for architecture. It's not for large sets. But everything which is more or less, small. Picolite are amazing and super precise light shapers. So why not use them as well in a different field of cosmetics, photography, let's say beauty portraits. And I don't use all of them, but I love using this one, the Pico box for portraits of beautiful faces. I say this because it's a super small softbox. I think it's like 15 by 25 centimeters, so it's really small, which makes a softbox as well very hard. But if I have a beautiful skin, if I have a beautiful face, I think it's very interesting if we illuminate these faces with hard lights, because they really show the form and the quality, the form of the face and the quality of the skin much better. So that's why I would like to show you a few portraits, beauty portraits that are actually done with the Picolight and with the Pico box, which is this one from a seminar in China. And here one, oops. Well, let's go quickly back to this, okay. It's just the other one is exactly the same lighting technique. And let's jump over, okay, still there. And the goal is that you can see the Pico box, how it is used. It's more narrow. That's the first thing. The Pico box is more narrow than a face. That's the advantage of the size. So it's actually, if you have it here, let's say not like that, but like this, and you bounce it like that. So it's more narrow than my face, right? So it cannot illuminate my left extremes of the face. So this light automatically, even if it is a kind of uncontrolled light, like a diffused light is always kind of uncontrolled, but still it does not illuminate here, but it centers in the center of the face. And this gives me the nice dark contours on both sides. Well, here you can guess it. And and this is the set. So why not using still life tools on a portrait? Because they're super precise and they give very, very nice and very strong effects. I think this is probably the best way to describe it. It's very strong and powerful lights, but you need, I repeat it, you need a good skin and beautiful faces for this, because it shows every little detail. All right, good. Then we talked about the pools. Here we have something else, a different approach as well. The pool in this situation is just a large black acrylic of maybe at least, when I do this in a seminar, I always ask for at least 1 square meter. And then this is just down on the floor. And then again, maybe sometimes I make a frame with faux tubes. Again, maybe I just ask for a wooden frame of maybe 2-3 centimeters high, and then we stick this to this acrylic and fill it with water. So it's just a very shallow pool, 2-3 centimeters of water over a black acrylic. And then from a lighting point of view, if you would like to create reflections of, let's say here, the water surface on the model's skin, you need a hard light. If I illuminate the scene with a diffused light or a soft light, you would not get a clear a clear reflections. You will not get clear reflections from the water on the skin. It would be very diffused and not sharp in the end. So here the idea is, this is the entire set. So the white line is, let's say that this, it's a white line, but it symbolizes the black acrylic. A little bit of water on it. Again, like with the this cream shot that I've showed you before, I dipped everything in a blue atmosphere with the P70 reflector directed away from the model indirectly with double blue filters. A little bit of a backlight, that's what you can see in the model's hair. That's what you can see on the model's back. This is a backlight coming from a Octabox number 3. But then the key point is, again, actually here a Picolite. So it's the Picolight with projecting attachment and the templates in an angle that it only illuminates the water in front of the model. But it doesn't, first of all, it does not hit the model, but it illuminates the entire front of the bottle with a very hard light. Okay, and this very hard light is not seen in the water because it's a shiny surface, but what you see very clearly and very dominantly, of course, are the reflections of this hard light on the model skin. But the important thing is that we have this combination of very hard lights hitting the water surface, reflecting to the model, and all the rest is softer. Okay, so and with the Picolight and the projecting attachment, especially, you can define very, very precisely, almost pixel by pixel, if you want to have a certain area illuminated or kept in the dark. So it's I'm very enthusiastic about this little guy. It's really a super, super, super precise tool and solves many photographic problems. Right, okay, so this is what I prepared for today. The chat window is empty, so there are no questions. If you're interested in these kind of explanations, we do a lot to produce a lot of how-to examples here, which are photographs explained with this kind of behind-the-scenes photographs or drawings. We as well produced a lot of how-to videos, some of them in cooperation with Carl Taylor. So make sure you go to the Broncolor website, and there you go to the Learn section, and then you will have a lot to read and a lot of inspiration about lighting. And as I love these guys, not most, but many of these examples are explaining possibilities that offers the Picolight lamphead together with his accessories. Okay. Still no questions, so I would like to thank you very much for your time, for your interest in our products. I will be back here once more before my vacation in 1 week from now, and there we talk about something completely different. We talk about outdoor photography, action photography, sport photography in combination with Satos Power Pack. I will talk precisely about HSS technology, how we can work with super short shutter speed and combine this with flash anyway. So this happens exactly in 1 week from now, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Hopefully you can tune in again. Thank you very much for today. All the best. Bye-bye. Ciao.